Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Dylan solo stream. My name is Dylan, and I'm coming to you live from the isolated streaming closet here at Codename Entertainment Studio in beautiful Victoria, BC, Canada. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Dungeons & Dragons for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch. It is and will always be an honor to be here. And shout out as well to our moderator, co-producer Sasha, as well as our executive producer Erica for helping keep all of this going. Okay, so after yesterday, we have no guests lined up for today. All of our developers are either working on fixing bugs and they're smoothing out Modron automation, or in the case of one developer who was up until 6 a.m. doing that, asleep. So it's just you and it's me. I am going to start digging into Modron automation now, and so I guess first things first, I should probably pick an adventure. I have things I actually cleared. I rolled back my experience on my cores and cleared everything so I could start over somewhat to try and get things rolling. So I think first things first, I'm gonna while I wait for some questions to come in, I am more than happy to talk about anything that we spoiled yesterday as much as I am able. But first things first, I think I'm going to swap over to my second group and start setting up a gem farming run. Alrighty, Grand Tour of the Sword Coast. Mad Wizard. I'm a big fan of using champions that I never use for this. Close that notification for me. I have tons of favors, so I can easily kind of get this started. I tend to use Bruner a lot, but you know who I don't use is Krond, nor do I use Dadius or Jaheira. I kind of swap around a lot between my slot 1 characters, so maybe I won't use one of them, but I haven't been using Donar very frequently, and I actually don't really use Nayeli very often anymore either, because I tend to roll with an Artemis damage formation. So this will be my group for these farming runs. So maybe I'll put Deacon. No, it's Deacon speed doesn't really do anything for this. What I will do is I will take some of my basic familiars and put them down so that they're clicking, because basically I'm going to save this entire formation using these first these abilities and bruisers for Krond, vengeance, and I'm just going to set up basically a formation specifically for this, because with the Modron automation what you can do is you can pick a specific saved formation to use for it, as well as the specializations for the champions that are in it. Twisted Creatures for Mad Wizard. And so now that I have... Oh, and maybe I don't want to use potions for this group, so I'm going to leave my gift-wrapped mimic. Maybe I should make this a little bit more visible for everybody with the game, because I realized that the stuff at the bottom you can't see, so I'm just going to switch over to the game view for a second. I'm going to leave my gift-wrapped mimic from the year 1 anniversary, the first anniversary celebration here. So I have familiars clicking on the battlefield on enemies, and I have a familiar clicking on click damage, as well as slot champions from slots 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that are rarely used. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this Krondy. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to overwrite this one, my Modron automation save slot, so you can see it here. There's the champions with the number of familiars that they're using all set up here. So now what I can do is I can go into my Modron core, and I'm at negative experience here, so it looks like I over reset myself when I was rolling back my experience, because I think I was like level 2 or 3 or something. I didn't get rid of my pieces because I don't actually know how to remove the pieces from my account. But basically, we want to make sure that we get the start of the Modron power, the right here, to go through this component to allow us to set up buffs and resets and formations. And then, ideally you can create enough flow that you can activate your gold find and your champion damage. I'm not really worried about those right now because this formation is going to be able to very, very, very easily kill everything in the gem farming runs, because I'm going to set it to reset at like level 30 maybe, because that's faster spawns up to that point. I don't know that really impacts offline progress at all, but it will. I don't require much in order to get this to work. So, like, this is a bare minimum, using rare components obviously, but this is a bare minimum to get this rolling. And then you can see there's sort of like there's flow direction on the pieces. And for those of you who tuned in yesterday during the developer Q&A, we talked a bit about the visibility of some of these pieces, about the possibility of zooming in and out on the Modron automation screen, and allowing you to see more of it at once, because obviously there's quite a few positions, as well as just making the flow a little bit more easily visible on the pieces. And so, there are a number of things that they want to do in terms of sort of a bug fix list, as well as a features list to kind of smooth out Modron automation and bring it up to the feature that has been envisioned. And so that'll be in progress for the next little while. I'm just going to very, very simply bring this around and connect it, because I'm not too worried about being super effective with this, because again, it's this is a gem farming formation. There's one. Alrighty. Now that I'm sure there are some players who have figured out how to use like the 4-way different flow components in order to maximize their Modron automation. I haven't really done that yet, but now that the input power and the automation component are both active, you can go into setup automation and start setting up your automated runs. So I'm going to have this resetting at 30, area goal, set the formation to pick Modron automation croned, and then you can choose the specializations for it, which are already here. I'm not too worried about it because, again, it's area 30. You could probably have 1 or 2 champions do this easily. And then if you have potions to burn, you can also enable setting buffs so that the adventure will automatically use potions right at the start, just to get things rolling. But like, if you tell it to use a large potion of speed at the start every single time, it's not going to take very long before you look back and you wonder where all your potions went. So I'm going to leave that off. So this looks like it's about ready to go. So this adventure will just keep going for up to a week without any additional effort. I'm going to rename it Croned Gems, because I'm still a big fan of Cron DPS formations, even though he's not quite as good as he used to be. So that's kind of just, yeah, it's ready. It's good to go now. I'm going to swap over to my other party now and get them started on a patron variant that I need to get completed, because I am working on my Descent into Avernus stuff, and my Mert patron adventures are not all done, so I'm just slowly chipping away at this on my with my main group, dropping familiars in here again. As a slight aside, I'm actually kind of a fan of the fact that while it would be better if you set up the formations and it would drag any available familiars to put into them, that would be really convenient, and I believe that's something that's on the list to get updated. I kind of like that I put all of the earlier familiars in the other formation that's doing the farming runs, because I like the later ones that we created a lot more, like this Lulu and this little devil and the Iris Beholder from last year. So now it's time to set up a formation for here. So bear with me for a minute. Let's see. Do I want to do a Caddy Brie formation or a Zorgu formation? I'm going to do an Artie, so Artie means putting things in other places. And he just steals the shield buff so he can tank, because he's like that. Volanya at the back, crawl wherever. I need another tank. Do I have another tank available? Sentry. Sentry's fast. Anyways, how are you guys doing? I see that a bunch of questions came in, and I'm going to get to them in a second. I'm just going to get this set up enough that I can look away. Do I have enough familiars to drop them on all the guys that are here? I don't actually need any clicking for damage right now. I know this is not an optimal formation. Don't worry. I am just doing this so that there's a formation active. Observance foe, because I'm stealing buffs from Caddy Brie. In the zone. Pain. Let's see. Guardian of Solwyn. Group tactics. I'm just going to max these out so it stops spamming on my screen. And then I'll set a couple to I'll set a couple familiars to knock off random ultimates, and then I will get into your questions. Boom. Alrighty. Oh, but before I forget, do not forget to click up here every day for the next few days and claim your summer chests, because I would hate to see anybody miss out on Pirate Calliope because they forgot to click. You know, yeah, it's happened before. It'll happen again, I'm sure. But yeah, just try to remember to click on that. Especially if you're a completionist and you forget it for more than 24 hours and you get that one red one, and while all the other ones are still going. That stuff drives me mental. Anyways, okay, so going back to the questions, because my amazing moderator co-producer Sasha has been gathering them. Let's see. Dylan, can we start with you singing all the bardic songs while playing guitar? Unfortunately, I can't play guitar. And this actually, so the reason I keep mentioning that it's to the that it bothers members of my family when we're talking about it on Bardic Inspiration is because there are lots of musicians in my family. Probably the most well known is one of my, I think he's my great uncle. His name is Eddie Kamai. One of the most renowned ukulele players ever to come out of Hawaii. He might even still be alive right now. Actually, I think he might still be alive. Anyways, but like, you know, my dad's a really brilliant guitarist, and it's just like everybody's like, "Do you play any instruments?" And I'm like, "No." So at this point, it's just like it's stubbornness. I just haven't tried, but maybe someday I can certainly. You know, it's a lot of fun every week to get an opportunity to try and make a song with Jason. Alrighty, if two familiars click damage runs, one clicker and one upgrading clicks are not intended for automation, can we get an automation feature that upgrades champions to a limited point so that folks without familiars can make use of the automation? That is a really interesting suggestion, Crazy Matt Captain. I believe the intent is for familiars to be required to do part of that automation for you, but I can pass this along, certainly as a suggestion. Who am I sending that to directly? That person. Well, are there any plans to make Modron chests available for gems? There are not. No. You can earn them as you unlock more runs. As you unlock more levels in your Modron core, and there will be other ways in which they can pop up from time to time. I know that we're giving out an epic Modron component piece as part of the Summer Spectacular, but right now we don't have any plans that I'm aware of to introduce Modron chests, Modron component chests for sale in the store for gems. see. I did not check the new support thing for Motron animation. Did people talk about a way to highlight the new pipes we get from chests? I don't know. So, mentioning the support thing, one of the things that our developers have done lately as part of... God, I just realized I'm still not visible because I keep forgetting to switch myself back. One of the things our developers have done lately as part of addressing feedback on Modron animation, because as the feature went, as we released it wider, we were getting more and more tickets, and of course many of them would be about the same issues that players have found, is we have created a new sort of support system that shows the burn list of bugs that our dev team are working to address right now, and if it's a bug that you see, you can upvote it so that the ones that are affecting more players are a little bit more visible to us, but also to help keep the tickets down to a more manageable number. Sean is working on tickets all the time, but other developers also work on tickets to help address them. Sean does a kind of like triage pass where he goes over them, and there's any issues that he can help with, he does. Anything that he needs, a developer or a specific developer for, he kind of flags for them, and it's just kind of, it's a lot of things. Yeah, it's going on. But yeah. I see somebody in chat asking about, since obviously Sean is swamped with tickets, what's the average delivery ETA on raffle winnings? I don't have an ETA time for you. Diziazor? I don't know how to say that name. I'm sorry. I don't have an ETA time for it. I can say that it's a little bit of a lower priority, perhaps, than some of the more game-breaking stuff that we're trying to address right now. But as long as we have collected your information and we know what you wanted out of it, it will get done. Alrighty. Let's see. Twitch won't allow me to raid CNE games. Maybe CNE decided to not allow raids. I think perhaps, Garwar, that it's a feature that I never tried to turn on. Do I have to turn something on for that? I haven't honestly looked into it. I'm just going to see if I can't pop up a thing and go into the dashboard and have a look. Let's have a look, Garwar. Stream Manager. Bump, 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 bump. Raid channel. Oh, no, that allows me to raid another channel. I don't see any... So, yeah. It just didn't work today. Huh. I don't know, man. Yeah. That's odd. I will look into that after the stream and figure out why that is not as awesome as it should be, clearly. Anyways, why is the fluffy beholder so cute? Well, our artists really, really like drawing cute things. And will even fight each other over getting the opportunity to draw cute things. Like, no joke. So... when they get the opportunity to do something cute that is something that we actually want to be cute, like a fluffy beholder or Fluffy the Beholder, they kind of they fight for it, and the winner sits atop the pile of other bodies in the art room and gets to draw it. I think it's probably because beholders as aberrations are kind of really gruesome and disgusting, but when you remove all their weird mangly skin and you get rid of the parts of them that are really gross, and you cover it in fluffy soft pink fur, suddenly they're cute as a button. Yeah, and I guess on that note, I'm gonna plunk and just because I will also two little familiars clicking away. One of them cuter than the other. Alrighty, thank you for the components chest. Already sent in a ticket, but why do undirected pipes split X ways instead of up to X ways? Helps greatly if pipes aren't trying to flow into each other due to the only one side being able to flow input side. I can't really speak to why things are designed a specific way. That would have been a good one that I wish we had gotten as a question when Justin was on stream yesterday. But if you put... I would think, I'm not a plumber. I'm certainly not qualified to be one. But if you are going to put an open pipe in something, even if it's facing a wall, is it not? Oh, I suppose I should. If you're putting it, oh, I didn't realize I was at this level. Like if you're leaving it open, just open, like even if there's nothing over to the one side, you're still kind of like that's like it's loss, it's leakage, right? Like you want a perfect seal in between your pipes for every part. So I think perhaps maybe the issue is that we're not it's polymorphic energy and we don't know how that behaves. Touche. But really what we should probably do is maybe add a way for it to just say what it's this much loss, or this much empty or something, because I don't think we're going to be changing the behavior of the pipes, but I can see if we can make it a little bit easier to understand the behavior sometimes. Add a feature that might be able to lock the Modron components to prevent accidental changes. Oh yeah, I'll pass that along. All suggestions are good suggestions. Obviously, we're definitely not going to be focused on suggestions quality of life wise for Modron automation as much as we're going to focus on fixing what isn't operating as smoothly. But yeah, I will pass that along and we'll get to it. Does going over 4 flow have any benefit? Not currently. So one of the things that Justin talked about on stream yesterday was the idea of overcharging different parts of the Modron automation. And so, when we get to the point where we might explore that idea, there could be a change. But currently, there's no benefit to going above 4 for an individual part. Is there any chance that in the future, through Modron, 2 adventurers will be possible simultaneously in 2 browser windows with normal progress? That's not something that we're intending, Taman. As per what Justin mentioned yesterday, like the intent is not to allow you multiple simultaneous parties in that way. So, I mean, obviously, things can always change. I mean, there was a time when we talked about never adding more specializations to a Shara when Shara only had 1 round of specializations to pick. So, I wouldn't say that anything is set in stone definitively forever. But right now, the intent is not to have multiple simultaneous adventures through multiple windows or anything like that. How often do you go through the new beta bug page and remove/combine duplicates? I know people were saying it was getting pretty messy yesterday. It's kind of what the developers are working on all full time right now. Like basically all of them. We are working on our content pipeline, and our content pipeline, as mentioned, is like 3 months ahead now. Like we have locked in all the content through August and September, and we're developing stuff for October right now, which is to say that we know who the next 4 champions come into the game are and when they're coming. And so that's kind of like we have development time dedicated to working on the content pipeline for that. But right now, the bulk of our team is just working on Modron automation and fixing bugs. Yeah. Alrighty. Being able to tag a Modron ticket as a bug or feature is nice, but it'd be nicer if you could change the tag if you realized the other one was more appropriate. I could pass that along. I don't know if that's something that they'll look at. It's just better to. It just helps us organize and prioritize, really. How has the rollout of Modron automation gone so far? Bumpy, less bumpy than expected? I think it's about what we expected. We were originally targeting a Modron automation multi-party mode and Summer Spectacular launch in June, like immediately following D&D Live. Like that was our original target date. And we realized as we were developing Modron automation and as we opened it up to our beta testers, like this needs more work. And so we pushed it back several times until we ended up with end of July as the wider release of the beta feature. And so, the feature itself has continued to surprise us with its depth, complexity, and number of things that we need to work on. But we're happy that we're able to get it out to more players now, and it's going about as expected, but. we've been working on these expectations for months now. It was mentioned yesterday that development on Modron automation started in December. So, yeah, it's about what we expect at this point. TK Hula, where can I play Modron automation? So, you will need to have unlocked enough champions in order to see the feature. Like Modron automation, switching back to game only, is this little adventuring parties icon right here. And then you will also need to go through an adventure called Split the Party, which is an extremely challenging adventure that requires you have at least 2 champions for each of the 12 bench slots in order to attempt it, because you will lose them over the course of the adventure. Not forever, just for the adventure. But it's a very challenging variant. Doesn't matter how much time you've played the game, it is a challenging variant. And that's kind of where you get started. So beyond that, this is definitely very much a feature that is for not, I don't want to say intended for the end game, but it's targeted towards the end game. Which is to say players who've completed the bulk of adventures and variants that are available. They've unlocked patrons and they've unlocked many champions. Has the bug been fixed where the familiars drop off on the first ult upgrade? I can't speak to which bugs have or haven't been addressed of late, Elduin. That is outside my sphere of things I work on at CNE these days. So I'm just going to make a note here for Sean or Erica, and maybe they will be able to chime in and let me know. Will we get pirate skins for more champions? I'd love to run a pirate theme formation. I hope so. Fun fact, I can actually, through the magic of having access, I can actually swap over to Pirate Calliope now. And then, of course, there's, Pirate Bruner. Maybe I'll just put him in here. Just, who needs Krond, right? Or a Krull. Krull's not super, super absurdly powerful. Bump it up and up and up and up. There, I got a couple pirates here. But yeah, you know what? We need more pirates. I'm gonna make a special note about that. We need more pirates. More pirates. Alrighty. Let's see. Will the Epic Modron component award from collecting 4 summer chests be a randomized epic or a customized one-of-a-kind sort of thing? That is a great question. As far as I am aware, it is not a one-of-a-kind. It is simply an epic piece. You can see there it's an epic piece. It's a T-junction with flow going down and to the left. Erica or somebody else can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, it is that specific piece, and it's still possible to get that one in a chest. Just got here. How do we use the parts? Okay, so I obviously the person who said just got here a little while ago, but you can go into adventuring parties, and this is good because I have another one that is not currently really being used. So this is my main formation one that's got some space. And it's funny because I had both of them up to a higher level, but I reset the other one for the start of this stream, and I'm in the negatives for it, so I'll have to fix that. And then the main one, this one is still back where it was, so I still have a lot unlocked. But essentially, you have your components here. If they don't have arrows on one of the pipe ends, then there isn't a controlled flow direction for it. But if they do have arrows, that means that the what is it, psychomorphic energy, I think it's called, or something, can only go in one direction. And yeah, what you want to do is you want to connect your input power to your automation component if you want to automate. But also there are a number of just little junctions here that can do things that increase your damage or increase the amount of gold that you find. And so if you pull some pieces in to connect those, you'll light it up. But you'll notice that some of these components have a percentage increase, so they increase the flow by that much as it goes. If you can, say, draw this out to a much... Oh, no, wrong direction. If you can draw it out and amplify that flow before it gets there, then you can activate higher tiers. So let me see. I just need a couple bendy pieces. Bendy pieces, where are ye? It's a technical term. Boom. So now you see that, like, starting here, it's at power input starting at 1.0, 1.2, 144, 202, 282, 395, 435, 478, boom. And the other reason that you want to increase the flow is because every time you split it, it weakens it, right? So now this one is only getting up to 2 flow instead of the 4 plus that it was getting. So, yeah. So I encourage you to, based on the components that you have that you managed to unlock, explore what's best for your formations. It offers some pretty significant DPS increases to your main formation if you're activating all the different parts, and then, certainly for your automated one. I mean, right now I just have it set to do gem runs basically. See, it's already reset once apparently. My croned gems run doing Mad Wizard free plays. So, but those champions and the familiars clicking on them, and the familiars clicking on different parts of the adventure. Oh, excuse me. They are locked out, right? Like, they are in that run. So keep that in mind. Like, I have a lot of familiars listed as being in another party at the moment. So, let's see. I answered that question already. How fast does the automated party go? It's been a few hours and they only made it a few levels up. So it uses a similar calculation to the offline progress one. So it's roughly a minute per area. So if they've only made it like 2 or 3 areas in that time, you might want to double check your automation to see whether or not your champions are actually being leveled, whether you have familiars leveling them, whether you whether you have auto progress on. It is possible to just you want to have it set up in every way just like you would for your regular formation in order to leave it running. And so if you've forgotten part of it, like you have familiars set to click damage, but you're not using a fire breath potion and you're not leveling click damage, well then they're not really going to do much, right? So just kind of be diligent and detail oriented for setting up your automations for sure. Will we be having an anniversary week, or is this Summer Spectacular replacing it? We will be having another anniversary celebration. It will come after, what's our last event? Bright Swords? So in between Bright Swords and High Harvestide, which I want to say will be either the very end of August or the very beginning of September this year. We will have another anniversary celebration. This anniversary celebration, much like previous years, will see daily rewards that are actually pretty, not that different from the Summer Spectacular, although with a different skin that I actually don't know what it is yet because I haven't checked. As well as, a new round of DLC unlocks, which on that note, like last year, we did a sort of round of August sales on different DLC packs that we were intending to retire. We will be doing that again this year. Expect to hear about the specifics around that next week. Though not for me. I will not be here next week. I am taking some time off to visit family. Fluffy gelatinous cube when? After meeting up with Star Trek Tribbles? Gross. See, when I think of a fluffy gelatinous cube, I think of like kids' Play-Doh or something, or Jell-O, that fell on the floor and you pick it up and it's covered in just lint and hair and skin and other gross stuff. So when I think of a gelatinous cube being fluffy, that's the reason, which is to say, gross. Now we do need some kind of miniature gelatinous cube, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do one at some point. Can we get a Fluffy Beholder plushie, please, 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 please? That is 100% not up to us. We are a digital licensee, which is to say we are allowed to make digital stuff tied to D&D related to our game. The Fluffy Beholder, being a beholder, it was not something that we were allowed to make. I would love to see one. That would be great. I would buy one. I think most folks in the office would probably get one if it were an option. But yeah. Alrighty. With champions like Beetle and Grim, Havilar, and others, do we get a feature to lock ultimates so a familiar cannot activate it automatically? That's an interesting idea. So I think, I can't remember if we talked about this yesterday or not. Yeah, I'm not sure. Did we discuss it? Sorry, yesterday was a blur, and I didn't get as much sleep as I'd like, so I'm tired. Not to complain. But anyways, we've talked about it a bit. I don't know if that's a feature that we're going to go ahead with. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flag it to send along to the dev team, and like maybe they'll address it, maybe they won't. Yeah. Is the epic component we get from the event one shown or a random epic Modron component? As far as I am aware, it is the one that is shown and not a random one. And I'm pretty sure that's because we picked the specific rewards for this. Like, you only get random components from a Modron chest. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. And I'm just going to flag that again because people keep asking it. And God, I hope I'm giving the right information. Baby Strahd familiar. I don't know about that one. I really enjoyed the story for Split the Party, so thank you. No, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it and had fun, Colavir. I will pass that along to the team. Maybe a cap component could be added. Oh, something that caps off an area? That's I like where you're going with that, Pax Zero. I'm going to make that note for the devs because that could be very, very interesting. Amber X Alt F4. If I get Founders Pack 2, will the gem buff apply to both my active and inactive formations or only my active formation? I have no idea. My brain assumes that it would only be your active formation, but I am going to punt that one upstairs. Because I really have no idea. So I'm just going to doop, flag that. I'm going to copy that one, and there was another one that I needed to pass along. So I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do is, I hate to disengage from you guys while I'm doing this, but I'm gonna post them in our dev chat and see if I can't get answers. Where's the other one? Let's see. There, the one about the component. Bump. And then I'm just gonna. This is the stuff that I usually try to do after the show is over, but you guys are here now, so I'm just going to see if I can't. And then, yeah, I will patiently await a response. Let's see. Question not related to Modron. Are the moving of familiars causing them to disappear / not work anymore a known bug? I believe it is. Has it been considered to remove white pipes as drops and just let you use what you need, or is that right out? I don't know. I think if you were just able to use what you needed, it would diminish some of the functionality that you have that you're forced to figure out. So that's a better Justin question than me. How taxing on your system is Modron/multi, as my new computers can't quite handle the game as is right now. Your new computer can't handle the game? Like, I mean, I'm streaming and running the game right now, and I'm not having an issue with it. It doesn't run the other formations simultaneously. It does something similar to what it does with offline progress, where it calculates it. So I wouldn't say that it's hugely more taxing than the game already is, but as we have put in everything related to this feature, David was talking about this a bit yesterday. We have been, seeing more memory usage than we would like, and part of our planned attempt to smooth out the feature is to look at the memory usage and stuff across different platforms. We know there's a number of issues with PS4 right now, causing a lot of crashes, so we're working on that as well. Let's see. Will there be a source of component chests outside real money? Yes, and it's not something that you're likely to see on sale for gems, but there is obviously there's the code in the corner that gives you a Motron component chest, but will you see them in other places outside of money? Yes, but like right now, unlocking the feature, leveling it up is a great way to do it. So, Modron buffs are so powerful it let me complete all missing Strahd variants. Was it intended to be so powerful? Yeah. We didn't do a soft cap increase, and we haven't done new blessings, but this system is another one that you can allow you to get a lot of power for your formation out of. So that is intended. I assume the bugs around familiars/resets have been reported thousands of times. Familiars not being placed, being removed, etc. Yes. So a number of them have been. What I would encourage you to do is, especially if you're seeing it related to Modron automation, is to go down to the corner of the screen and go to open your support ticket, just down there in the bottom right corner. Check, because we have a list there, like these are the things that we know of and are actively being worked on. And then, it doesn't hurt to check there. I mean, I hate to flood Sean with more tickets right now, but like if you are seeing a bug and it's not something that's on one of our lists, certainly let us know. Also, but before you do that, make sure you're using the latest version of the game and it's not something that got fixed by a developer staying up until 6 a.m. working on fixes, because that's also been happening lately. Let's see. Right now, I have an undirected T component that can only output in 2 directions, but Pipeflow needs it to input in 2 directions. Why can it not do this? Because it's got fixed flow directions, so it's a T junction, but it's got 2 ins and 1 out, which is, it's not always super intuitive, but it's just an element that allows you to do some different things with your formation and your setup. Timo Bot Insane, what are the hints for the hidden code? Oh, you asked. What I will say, Timo Bot Insane, is that I definitely already said the hidden code for today's show. Do you get the buff if the flow does not go through the pump? You need to meet a threshold for the buffs, Jellicol. So I do. Okay, what am I set to right now? So just to bring this one up, your input power starts at 1. You don't need it to be necessarily super high in order to get the automation component active, but it certainly helps. So you can see here on this one, you get health increases if you have more. But the more that you increase the flow, there's different tiers, like flow below 2, all gold fine by 20%, flow above 2, 80%, above 3, 240, above 4, 480. The ones I like the most are the DPS increases. And I will often just create a round, elaborate way to just get my DPS up as high as possible, but like really it depends on what you're using your automation for. You know, the optimal thing to do isn't always going to be increasing your DPS as high as you want, right? I mean, maybe you're doing an event, free play to unlock a character for the first time, and you can just, you know, get your gold find up way higher because you have a gold find component set up. So the ideal is that for everything that you've unlocked in each core, that you can unlock the whole thing and you can max out the flow on all of it, because you'll be getting some seriously impressive gold find and health and DPS increases. Do you get the buff if the flow doesn't go through? Well, you needed to. Oh, all right. Oh, wait, I just spent a bunch of time answering that. I'm losing it. I forgot to highlight the question. I see a bunch of people asking why there's all this spam. They keep saying components in chat. That is to join the latest raffle, which is for 7 chests. And the type of chests are up to you. So if you want it to be an Event Champions gold chest or gold supply chests, you can make that choice. Or if you want Modron components, you can make that choice. And I suspect, you know, quite a few of the potential winners these days will probably want that above other ones. I'm about to unlock this feature, hopefully. Is there any way to permanently screw up, or can I mess around without a problem? There is one thing you can do that can cause a problem, anti-muffin, or anti-muffin, and that is, and I will just demonstrate it. You can click here and dismantle parts. So, you know, I've got 13 of these, but like, you know, oh, I dismantled 3 of them. Convert it, and there's a confirmation. But if you dismantle it, it's gone, and you have pieces down here. And you know, you can use those pieces to upgrade parts, but that is what you can do to potentially mess up. So just be careful with your pieces. I recommend not breaking any down to start. So, yeah, that would just be how I would approach it, fresh out the gate. Is there a reason why automation is not slotting the first champion when it resets the adventure? That is a known bug, Reaver1. And you'll notice that in order to get around that very specific bug, in my formation, I am not using a slot 1 champion in my gem farm formation right now, just because of that issue. Also, I do tend to swap between my slot 1 champions a lot. I like having them all available, but yeah. My workaround is to just not use a slot 1 champion at the motion. If you use a huge potion that lasts for a run, does it stop when the Modron resets? Yes. It treats it like a run, yeah. Any chance that the other party tag can get its own color to separate it from unassigned when you look at the tab? Oh, so right in here, unassigned and other party are both. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will pass that feedback along. Will there be a list of DLC getting retired? There will, Owen. Yeah, expect more information about that next week. Now, just to preempt everybody about next week, because I know that you know, it's not a holiday everywhere, but here in British Columbia, there is a holiday on Monday, which means that the CNE office is closed, which means that things that we would normally do on Tuesday are either not happening or are getting shuffled throughout the week. So there will likely not be Reddit Q&As for either Idle Champions or Crusaders, I think, on Tuesday next week. And there will not be an episode of Bardic Inspiration on Tuesday next week because I'm away. We are aiming to have a blog that talks about the retirement sale and all that stuff coming next week. I don't have an exact ETA on what time next week, so just please bear with us. We are trying to give you as much notice as we can about different things. But yes, the intent is that there will be a full list of which DLCs are being retired, and yeah. Can you submit a request to be a physical licensee to make merch, or is it something that you, not something that you want to do? We are not allowed. Just straight up, Garwar. We've had those conversations before. We're not a physical licensee. So what we can do, if we want to create something like a fluffy Beholder Familiar, and I don't know, I mean, maybe this is something that our awesome player base can pressure somebody into. I hate not to sick you guys on somebody, but you know, if a fluffy Beholder Familiar plushie is something that literally many of our players want, and are also willing to probably spend what would likely be like what, $20-$30 US plus shipping, many of you international. So if that is something that you are willing to put your money on, start requesting it. Start tweeting at for fans by fans, or you know, or D&D, being like, hey, can we get a familiar this? And then it might be possible. Yeah. But it is definitely outside our hands. The physical aspect. It's also the reason why we don't sell like Idle Champions shirts, where we are not able to. We have the shirts that we have for our staff, and then For Fans by Fans has shirts, but we are not allowed to sell physical D&D stuff. Licensing, brand licensing is a big, audacious, complicated topic. And as somebody who has worked with a number of brands beyond working with Dungeons and Dragons / Wizards of the Coast, it's yeah, there's a lot to it. But yeah, we are unable to be a physical licensee at this time. If it changes, I will certainly let you know, because yeah, you better believe there'll be a fluffy plushie, if there already isn't one at that point. Let's see. PowerCat13. Hey, Dylan. Xbox users seem to get a cool new Gromma skin. Is that exclusive to Xbox, or are there other ways to unlock on different platforms? I can actually show this. Oh, no, I can't show this. Or can I? So there is a War Druid Gromma skin available to Xbox players exclusively right now. It is not forever. In fact, it will be available through other means in the future. What we have been doing on our end is we've been putting the finishing touches on our exclusivity policy internally, so that we can create something to share with players. So, yeah. I don't have an ETA for when you might be able to get War Druid Gromma somewhere else. But yes, it is currently something that only our Xbox players have access to. Do we know if the hidden code is 12 or 16 digits? It is, I think it's 16 digits. Yeah, it's 16. When running Modron automation, only the automated party benefits from the Modron pipe piece benefits, correct? Like I would like to run an automated Mad Wizard gem farming party, but I don't care at all about gold find or better DPS. Would rather have the pipes benefiting my active party doing a deep push on Dragon Heist, for example. Yeah, so Nefarious, I'm assuming you tuned in a little later, because that was literally the first thing I did on stream today, but I don't mind going over it again. Because it's, you know, we're almost an hour in. It's totally okay to talk about it again. This is my Mad Wizard free play automated formation. And this is the core for it, which, you know, the most important one is the automation component. I didn't do anything to really buff up the flow before it got to it, because I'm not really worried about champion health, certainly not in that adventure, especially when I'm just resetting at area 30 over and over and over again. I am a little concerned that I have negative 25,379 experience, though. I should fix that. Anyways, yeah, the pipes are, you know, we have a few of them that are active. It's mostly just the DPS one that I went with, but like really, it's just this isn't that important. I could have just set this up to just be one loop for the automation component. Just be sure to make sure that you select everything that you want running. So I have a familiar leveling click damage, familiars clicking, and then familiars leveling up a handful of champions. You know, easily enough, since it's using slots 2 through 6, easily enough champions in order to tear through 30 areas of Mad Wizard. And it's just set to do that over and over again. Is Modron something a new player would not have access to yet? WVM2. It is unlikely that a new player would have access to Modron automation. Once you have unlocked enough additional champions, the Adventuring Parties button will show up. And then beyond that, once you have unlocked enough champions, which is to say you have at least 2 available champions in each of the 12 slots, you'll be able to attempt the Split the Party adventure that allows you to unlock the feature. There's an additional Modron core that you can purchase for a fairly high gem cost. I want to say it's like $500,000. It's a lot of gems. That might seem like an unattainable number, but once you start automating your free plays and stuff, your gems, your daily gem amount is pretty crazy. I see somebody asking about the Warden skin. So Siren Knight Warden is available in the patron shop. Yeah. For Mert the Moneylender. Are there still VODs? I believe there are, Giant Dwarf. Yeah. We hadn't turned them off. But certainly, I think Twitch only keeps them for a certain amount of time. So if there is something from an older episode that you're looking for, the CNE Games YouTube, youtube.com/CNE Games, has all that stuff. Yeah, it has all of our episodes of things. It doesn't have the first 90 episodes of this show because those are all on the D&D Twitch. I want to say we transitioned over at episode 95 or 96. So the subsequent 40 or so episodes are all on the CNE Games Twitch. But all of our other shows, Mars Guiding Hand, Garwar's Guide to Everything, Bardic Inspiration, Evergreen Champions, all those episodes are on the CNE Games Twitch. Will Modron Automation get a way to activate Havilar's ultimate once upon her getting it? Or will Havilar remain a manual-only speed champion? I don't know what the future holds, Raven's Voice. Somebody asked a similar question earlier today, and I kind of flagged it for feedback to pass along to the dev team for suggestions and stuff that they would like to see with Modron Automation. I don't know if that is something that specific is one that we will ever do. We do still want people to play the game. We don't want you to be able to automate everything. Yeah. Will we be able to prestige cores to level 1 and have increasing XP? Wow. Unless you've been using external tools and other means to level up your core, it's hard for me to imagine somebody having a core anywhere near being able to prestige it like you've unlocked it all. But yeah, certainly, I'll pass that along. I think that's crazy, but it's the kind of crazy I like. There are certainly games I've played enough to prestige things over and over and over again. What if you don't know if something is or isn't a bug and not sure how to describe it for a ticket? That's tough, Morton Zomjay. One thing you can do, so while tickets are text-based, you can... I'm not recommending everybody do this, but if you're not sure how to talk about whether something is a bug or not, if you're able to demonstrate it, either through screenshots or maybe a short video clip, you can email it to us at idlechampions@codenameentertainment.com and ask. I would consider that a last resort after a ticket if you're unable to describe something in a ticket. So. Is it intended that when you set up your core to use a potion for Area 75 and Briv skips it, that the core doesn't use any potions? If Briv skipped the area, then it's not going to trigger. Just like there are a number of different issues that can cause. Briv, can skip the area where you lose champions in Split the Party, causing you to not lose them. So everything that happens in that area is skipped. Which is not good. If you have your core set up to use a potion for Area 75 and Briv skips it, then I would expect it to not use the potion. Do familiar clicks work with automation? Yes. Can the buffs from the core be displayed in the buffs area like potions / weekend champions / yeah, this is something we talked about yesterday on the stream, DDAM. Not that I expect you to know that or to have tuned in necessarily, but yeah, we talked a bunch about where we would see, like, you know, the total tally of buffs and stuff that you're getting from Modron automation. So I will pass that along to the dev team just to kind of reiterate that. But that's something that is on our radar. Does offline progress or automated parties take into account speed champions like Shandy, Deacon, or Melf? I seem to recall someone mentioning in a stream that offline progress was at a fixed rate. So it takes some of them into account. Some things don't work right. And as Justin mentioned it on stream yesterday, you have to program in a specific variation for the offline progress. You have to program in each new speed champion's specific interactions for it, and so not all of them have it. I do not have a list for you for which ones work and which ones don't. Yeah, sorry, but I will pass that along as well. I know I say that a lot, that I'll pass this along, and I know that some players are like, he never passes it along. I mean, I do. We just, you know, I guess the thing that what we don't offer is a lot of transparency in terms of how we show what everything is that we're working on right now, and there are lots of reasons why we can't, and probably never will. But trust me, I do pass it along. Was the hidden code about pirates? No, it wasn't. Let's see. Will we ever get a quicker way to remove a champion from the formation besides dragging them? I like with familiars and holding F. That's a possibility. I don't know that that's something that we've ever attempted to tackle, but I can pass that along. Maybe you hold down C. I don't know. Oh, that's funny. Two people asked that question back to back, and it's just in completely different ways. Missed the end of the last Bardic Inspiration stream. Who is next song-wise? That's a good question. I believe our next song is going to be about Havilar and Farida. And we are going to attempt to see if we can get Aaron Evans to join us for it, to help write it. I don't know if that will be the case, but it might. So, yeah, that's who's next. And if anybody hasn't checked out Bardic Inspiration yet, I mean, maybe it's not for you because we don't talk about the game. We just write music with chat. But I mean, the song that we did about Strahd von Zarovich is killer. I think is actually really good. And you know, the one we did for Spurt was really fun. You know, Brunner Battlehammer was pretty epic. Shandy's was not my favorite out of the group, but still, like, it was fun and it was good, and I encourage you to check out the VODs. You can find them on you can find them at twitch.tv/CNEgames in our images, in our videos, but certainly on the YouTube, youtube.com/CNEgames. You can find the Bardic Inspiration videos. They were all posted over the last week or so. And final breath, the next episode of Bardic Inspiration will not be on Tuesday next week, but the following week, which I believe is the 11th. Yeah, the 11th. Why will my familiars not assign to where I have them saved after a Modron reset? I have checked multiple times to make sure I'm using the right save and everything is set up. I mean, I don't know, Damon Black. That sounds like a bug, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the ones on our list, but it never hurts to check. And Morden71, are there more familiars coming this year? Yes, there are. PS4 issue, are you guys aware that offline progress is no longer working with Modron Beta? Are you aware, and is there an ETA on the fix? I don't have an ETA on the fix, but yes, we are very much aware. Nefarious. One more automation question. I have a save formation that has only Binwin in it, which I selected for Mad Wizard, resets after level 50. However, he does not seem to get loaded after a reset. I am guessing it is because I do not have a familiar assigned to Binwin slot. Well, when you reset, how are you purchasing Binwin? Because unless you kill an enemy, you don't have any gold to buy him. So if he is the only one you have in there, and you don't have familiars clicking to kill enemies, how are you supposed to purchase Binwin and have him be there? That strikes me as most likely what your issue is, Nefarious. Please consider a remove all components button. We have that feedback. Thank you. Phoenixian Ultimatum. Might be a far way out, but could we get a way to sort our components? This is something that we talked about on stream yesterday, and it's on our list of desired features to implement. Since Briv can skip and make the potion not be used, can we get the ability to set up the same potion size multiple times, like one at area 25 and again at 100? I mean, I could pass that along, but keep in mind that if they're not epic potions, sometimes what might happen is you might end up with a whole bunch of rare potions or something being used over the course of one of your automated runs. Like you can run out of potions quickly. Just keep that in mind. Lots of suggestions today. Let's see. Plans for saving and loading component layouts. That's a great big maybe. We like the idea. Can we get a page up, page down key to work for when scroll bars are in a highlighted window? Yeah, I'll pass that along. Especially now, now is the time to send us suggestions for Modron automation and multi-party mode, because it is the thing that's being worked on. So, can you explain how to avoid overheating? I'm not picking up on that issue somehow. I keep making red loops, and I thought that would be okay. Well, it's something that feeds into itself. Yeah, it overheats if it feeds into itself. So this is where the directional components tend to come in, although sometimes they're the ones that are causing this. Yeah, so you basically, to avoid overheating, maybe I should demonstrate what overheating is first. Maybe not in the one that's doing my background farming runs. So if you create a loop that kind of just goes in on itself, it'll shut everything off. So let's see, here and here and bump, 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 and there. Nope. So it's setting an infinite loop, because what it would be doing is it would be increasing its power over and over and over and over again forever. So it's just anytime you set up an infinite loop, you're going to run into a problem. Now that was because the direction was controlled. Now the direction isn't controlled; it can go back. So it's not that different, but it has a very different effect. Whereas this one, like the flow, is controlling it, setting it into an infinite circular motion. So don't do that. And instead try to just kind of be mindful of where you're setting your directional components. The cores are completely different. Snow 0815 asking the difference between the difference between a starter and a powerful core. The layouts are totally different. So I just got dev response about some of the questions from earlier. So lots of people following up and asking about the reward from the whoops. I need to bring this UI back up for the Summer Spectacular. So this one right here, this champion one, and I think I might actually have the mouse cursor turned off so you can't see it. But the component piece displayed in here with the Pirate Calliope, that is the exact piece you'll be getting, not some other one. And then the devs are talking about the gem buff and whether or not it'll apply to active inactive formations right now. So hopefully I will get an answer to that shortly. Kyle account. I was trying to buy a wild offer and the Steam UI had a problem with the transaction. Now I can't buy it because the game thinks I have a pending transaction. Is this a ticket thing or is there a quick fix? That is a ticket thing. Whether that's a ticket to us or Valve, I'm not entirely sure. So open a ticket to us first and see if it's something that we can look into and fix. And if not, we will pass it along to our friends at Steam. Yuki the Snowman. Would it be possible to add a way where you can set a minimum amount of potions where if it reaches that minimum, it stops using that specific potion or stops the potion automation Motron? Maybe. Like, again, I'll pass this kind of feedback along, but like the intent of Modron automation is not to allow it to do 100% of things that are in the game. Like, we do want there to be some benefit to actually playing. So, you know, whether or not that infringes on the design there, I'm not sure. Alrighty. Thanks, Binwin, about the Binwin question. I have click damage, familiar, and a familiar leveling click damage, but not a familiar to level up Binwin. Yeah, you will need a familiar to level up the champion. Well, to purchase and level up the champion in order to make that work as well. And something else to keep in mind is that while it is currently possible to set up familiars and click damage to work with Modron automation, that is not something that we are intending to keep around. We do want you to have to use champions for it. So, as Justin said, like use it while you can. Since Brev seems to be good at breaking stuff, would it be possible to get a second specialization for him so you can choose to leave unnatural haste enabled or turn it off? I don't know. I don't know that that's the solution that we would want to take with him, but I can pass that idea along. I'll drink some water. Alrighty. Vega Dark 514. Can we get the ability to use an on-screen keyboard for entering codes on Xbox like PS4 has? I'm sure Switch players would also like that. I know that's on our like QOL list. I don't know how high it is in terms of priorities, but I will pass it along. I saw people talking about it just today on our end. Hey, nothing to ask for right now. Just praise. My support tickets are usually fixed fast and politely. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you as well, Kawaii Nico-san. Let's see. Apologies if this has been asked 1,000 times, but is there any reason additional achievements have never been added to the Xbox version of the game? I'm about to get the full 1,000 G, so I would love to have more to go for like I do on Steam. That is a better question for David or Justin than myself. I can't remember what our most recent answer for it was. I do know that adding achievements to consoles is very, very different than adding additional achievements to Steam. Steam will just let us do it. Like, we can be like, oh, like, we can hit a few buttons and just add more achievements. That is not the case for working with Sony and Microsoft on their consoles. So, yeah, I don't know that we will ever do that. But, yeah, I can pass the feedback along again. Let's see. If automation works slower than offline play, does automation work faster as the core levels? Well, it's also like what champions you're using, what they're doing in it. Things like speed potions in automations are taken into account. So if you have it set up to use an epic and a rare speed potion every time, offline progress and Modron automation will take those into account for the progress it makes. Can we have an option to change the direction of the mouse wheel when scrolling? When I scroll up, I kind of expect the maze to scroll up and not down as it currently does. What? Like in here? Oh. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. I will pass that along because I don't know if that's intended. Nama Roads. Let's see. Can we get an undo button? I've had over two from my Modron. I removed a few to try and improve it. Now I can't get it back above 2. I don't know that we're ever going to put in an undo button, but we have talked about allowing you to save your Modron component layout so that you could have multiple layouts saved. So that's a possibility. An undo button is less likely. Anti-muffin again. Am I right in thinking that I need to use my first core on my active party in order to get a second core for a background party? Yes. If you want more than one core and you obviously do not yet have the gems to just purchase a second core, you can put that core, like you can use your first one, assuming your core. Well, let me walk this back a bit. Assuming you have access to your automation component in that core. If you have access to the automation component and you're able to activate it with the pieces and the flow, then your background party is more than capable of automating and going through levels and doing everything for you. If you are unable to activate that because you don't have enough component pieces to activate it, for example, then you will want to use your core for your main active party until you've completed enough areas to level it up to get it to that point. What determines the rate of experience for Motron components? Completing areas. Could you add a checkbox to keep locked chest UI open? So I could use several codes at once. I can pass that along. I don't know if that's something that we're intending, but never hurts to ask. Never hurts to ask. Always ask. Unless the answer has been a definitive no, then please don't keep asking. Let's see. Let's see. I keep deleting old formations, but then they show up again after reset, and it's killing me. And a tricky one, if you use pop-up window as a launch option in Steam for full screen and multiple monitors, the game displays the info box, and you cannot interact with the game at all. Is it possible they can get a windowed full screen option? I will pass that part along to David. I can't speak to why deleting your old formations has them show up again. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that necessarily, but yeah. Where can I find the Split the Party adventure? So Modron Automation and Split the Party will not show up automatically for every player the first time they boot up the game, necessarily, because there are some criteria that need to be met first. In order for adventuring parties, this little box down here on the right, is that behind my head? No, it's not quite. In order for that box to show up, you need to have enough champions beyond your core champions unlocked. I want to say it's 6 just to get the box to show up. And then you need at least one for every other. You need at least one swappable champion, like a second champion in every slot, like 1 through 12. Like you need somebody in addition to Archon, somebody in addition to Jamila, somebody in addition to Tyrell, etc. You need at least 2 champions in every single slot in order to access the adventure. Once you've done that, you'll be able to access it, and then you're in for a wild ride because it's a difficult adventure, and click damage only works to a certain point, and fire breath potions don't work at all. So, let's see. I did one of the new adventures, and on the train levels, my FAMs and click damage didn't seem to work. Is that intended? I mean, I can't speak to which adventure that is, Baby LEG. It really depends on which adventure it is. We do have that as criteria for some adventures in the game that click damage doesn't do anything. So just keep that in mind. Xbox Quick Mithril. Any news on how the progress is coming for console players to use Modron UI, etc.? No. When there's news, we'll share it. I know that it's being worked on. One thing that might be good for Modron automation in the future is reset after formation wipe. Maybe. Again, like the intent is not to have Modron automation be able to do everything. So keep that in mind. If you remove click damage with Modron automation, is there any plans on reducing the reliance on familiars to buy and level them? I'd rather use champions, but there's a lot of familiars to make them work in the background. I mean, you know, the funny thing about familiars is that you know, first there's too many, and then we expand the functionality, and then there's not enough. And then as we add them more, there's too many again, and lots of them aren't getting used. And now we've added another feature that has the potential to use, well, double your familiar usage, and all of a sudden there's not enough again. And so it's kind of, I think you know, more familiars are coming to the game, and so you will be able to use that to help you get through stuff. To help you with your Motron automation and with your, but we're not planning on lowering the number of familiars or reducing their functionality or giving the functionality that they provide to anything else in the game. Can we see your arm tattoo better? Oh, yeah, just a second. There's some of it visible. It is a Hawaiian sleeve. It actually goes back. I'm Hawaiian. I have a Hawaiian sleeve. All the imagery is based on, you know, Polynesian and specifically Hawaiian imagery. My family animals are the pueo, the Hawaiian owl, which is like one of the apex predator birds of prey in the Hawaiian Islands, and then that's from one side of the family, and then the other side of the family, the spirit animal is a mako shark. So, you know, two intense predators in an island chain, from an island chain that is otherwise extraordinarily peaceful and remarkably predator free. So, but yeah, so like this part here, which you can kind of see here, but going around. Those are shark teeth. Owl shark familiar. Oh, that'd be great. I would love that. An owl shark. I mean, it's got to be like, it's got to look kind of like a cute owl, but with like a great big shark snout or something. You know, maybe some. Yeah, I don't know. It would look dumb and creepy, but also awesome. Let's see. Can we have the option to highlight, mass delete or delete all for saved formations? I am always adding for the 3 stars, but the others just keep adding up. I mean, there's a limit on how many slots there are, but sure enough, I can. See, my problem with adding a delete all feature is that what inevitably happens is you add one and you make sure that you have, you know, confirmation window or confirmation windows for it, so that players don't accidentally do anything with it. And then you start getting support tickets from people who are like, I accidentally deleted 12 formations. What can you do? And it's like, nothing. You deleted them. So, yeah. If you would give away a hidden code with 16 characters, what first word would you choose, Dylan? I feel like that hint is too good. Like I said the hidden code already. Yeah. So I don't know. I can pass that feedback along. I don't know that that's something that we would tackle. Like, you know, I mean, granted, I only have one familiar save for this patron variant, but excuse me. But some of my formation saves for some of the adventures have been extensive, and I just delete the ones I don't use. Let's see. In the future, will your new systems intermix? For example, a feat slot for Modron automation or patron currency for specific epic Modron components. Also, excellent work on the new Ayla skin. The overcharged Howling Gale looks amazing. Oh, thanks, Arsenal Magus. I will pass that along to the artists because they are awesome and they deserve all their praise. It is a possibility. I mean, you know, there's always the possibility that we will have feats that do more than impact a champion's ability by a percentage point. We also, there's always the chance that we will, you know, have blessings that have something to do with Motron automation or something to do with feats or increase the potency of feats, or, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there, especially when you add new features, and, you know, the idea of working on it is exciting. Yeah. If I understood your answer, potions work in offline mode. I was under the impression that offline mode progressed at 1 area per minute at maximum, so potions other than huge paused in offline mode, and speed potions had no effect. Now, I could be incorrect, and this does happen. But we were talking about it yesterday, that some speed effects are taken into account with offline progress. And so really what is inconsistent is how we explain which ones do and don't work, but speed potions do have an impact on it. Let's see. An automatic hiding option for completed patron challenges and champion achievements. I just want to see the things I have to work on. Yeah, I can pass that along. Now, keep in mind, like, even just the list from today's episode for potential QOL features and bugs, etc., is pretty long, and it's something that could take a very long time to get through. And we are very much all hands on deck on Modron automation multi-party mode right now, so just keep that in mind. Let's see. Future feature requests: Steam, PC, toggling. Toggle on dual/triple monitor setups so that if we click on the second screen, it doesn't automatically minimize the game. Very annoying when I'm surfing on another monitor. I don't have that issue, Barney9. Like, you must be playing in full screen mode. Because windowed full screen would be fine for that. I play in just windowed mode, and I have it here, and I can move it around. So, anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass it along to David, because that would go to him anyways. And I don't know, maybe that's something that we can address. Let's see. Quality of life features are a way of seeing how many variants/adventures/objectives you finished in a campaign out of how many there are in total. Okay. Oh, more water. Is there a way of seeing how many variants you finished? I can pass that along. I don't think that we currently have a counter that says how many adventures you completed and how many still have to go. So pass that along. Oh, so one of the things that I find challenging about this time of year, especially when I have sinuses that are extremely sensitive to both dust and pollen. We had kind of like a weird late spring thing. And so like my sinuses are just like a dried out, ravaged nightmare. Which when it gets really hot like this and like I start getting dehydrated, they'll like crack and like I can get a nosebleed. And so like this whole time, like I can just feel like my sinuses are just dry and awful. And I'm just like hoping that I don't just like spontaneously just like get have like a nosebleed on stream or something. Luckily I have tissue here for blowing my nose or for dealing with that just in case, but that would be awkward, wouldn't it? It'd be weird. You know, like you're watching the stream and there's Dylan talking about it, giving answers, and he just starts bleeding. He's like, ugh, and like falls off camera. That would be awful. Alrighty. Hello, Dylan. Alrighty. I was very excited about Modron automation when it was announced, but the implementation has left me a bit disappointed, specifically with how familiars work. As someone that doesn't particularly enjoy the familiar system and hasn't invested that much money or gems into them, I feel like I'm not getting the most out of the system and having to play catch-up. Is there a possibility that familiars will be allowed to be used across multiple parties instead of limited to one unique per group? No, there isn't. You know, the solution to having multiple parties running is to have additional familiars being used in them. So, you know, the good side, K Brown, is that we are releasing more familiars, and in addition to that, you know, like because through automation you'll be able to earn so many more gems at a time. Like, while it may seem like the new familiars are unattainably expensive, it won't stay that way. You know, your ability to earn gems has just been radically magnified with the release of this feature, and you'll be getting stuff more quickly than I think you might think. It's you know, it's, certainly if you're a newer player and you've just come to the game, the gem costs on them can seem high, but they are achievable. And I think we lowered the price of the mage hand as well to make it easier for somebody to start getting into it. But yeah. Any reason to reset before you've maxed out click damage and reached that level for gem farming? Well, so that depends. I mean, I have my Mad Wizard free play set to reset after 30 areas because the crazy high enemy spawn speed is only really around for the first 30 or so areas. And so that's like the optimal time-wise to reset it. So that's why I have it set to do that. If you really, really want to get your gem farm on, you can make your main formation into an all-speed champion formation. You can use Deacon, you can use, you know, you can use Sentry, you can use Briv, you can use Melf, you can, you know, use Shandy. Like, you just kind of use all the speed champions all at once in Mad Wizard, and you set up all your automation stuff, but it's your main one that's running. Like, it's the window that you have open so that the speed stuff does work. And so you automate your active window to reset, and you'll just blaze through it. Yeah. How do I get into the component screen? Dawn Inferno. Well, Dawn Inferno, there is a Adventuring Parties button, and when you click on it, you have cores. So the cores are kind of plugged in here. They don't need to be. You can deactivate them, but you click on the core, and that's where the components and the component inventory and stuff is. Hope that helps. I've been trying to figure out if there is a set bonus for completing an adventuring team since I recently got all the heroes of Baldur's Gate. The heroes of Baldur's Gate do not all collectively have, like, there's no set bonus like WoW tier armor where if you have a certain number of pieces you get a bonus. There's nothing like that for any of our completed parties, I guess you could call them. Some of them do have synergies that work together, but not all of them do. How do you hover over Modron parts on phone to see what they do? So you can't currently do it, Alucard Wolf. We were talking about this on stream yesterday, because right now what you do is you hover over it, and that's how you see it. And David was talking about changing it so that you had to click in order to see it. So that may happen, but yeah, it's not something that you can currently do. We need an Artificer champion that can influence or manipulate the Modron cores. What I can say about our Artificer champion is that they are a goblin. They will be arriving after Omen, and they cannot they cannot in any way impact Modron cores. But I see Quick Mithril talking about you can mouse over it if you use two fingers. That's kind of tricky for people, but it's not like, yeah, we haven't intentionally programmed an easier way for mobile to mouse over to see what individual pieces do. So that's something on our list. Anyways, yeah, what can I talk about our Artificer champion? I mean, they're another character from Corvair. Our second character from Corvair, our second champion that's coming from Corvair. This one grew up in the bottom of Sharn. Basically, would be the best way to describe it, easiest way to describe it. But they're a very, very, very brilliant and talented engineer and then artificer who, is going to make for a really interesting champion. I haven't seen them animated yet, but I've seen the art for the champion, and I've seen the rough design. But yeah, Goblin Artificer, and we're actually using an Unearthed Arcana subclass for them. It's not one of the default Everon Rising from the Last War Artificers. It is actually a different one. So we're using an Unearthed Arcana subclass for them. I see somebody asking in chat if this is a C&E original character. It is, yeah. The Goblin Artificer coming to the game that will be wearing a really badass set of custom-made powered armor is a C&E original. Yeah. Alrighty. But no, they cannot, to go back to Nefarious's question, they cannot in any way manipulate Modron cores. They have their own power core that they have to focus on and how they use it and how it affects the battlefield and stuff. I'm excited. Alrighty. Bounty contracts not applying gold bonus is a bug. I could have sworn they used to. I don't think they ever have. They the amount of gold you get is based on time. So as far as I know, they haven't changed. Was there an answer on the gem buff? Oh, let me check, Giant Dwarf. There's a discussion between Justin and Mark about it. Mark says that he believes that only the active party will benefit from the purchase buff, but that it had been added to the list to make purchase buffs apply to all of the active and inactive formations. So I don't know if that's been implemented or not already. Alrighty. Is there a timer to see how long the current adventure has been running? There isn't. The only timer you get is the one that says how long it ran for at the end. Did you say that the familiar bug was due to having a champion in slot 1 on reset? No, what I said was that the way that I get around the slot 1 champion not getting placed in automated adventures was to not use a slot 1 champion. Yeah. But all of those, a lot of those common Modron automation bugs are very well known and are on the list to get addressed. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. More bugs that we know about. Alrighty. If you have a formation set up in automation and you change it a bit and save that changed formation, you then need to go back and reselect that formation in the automation. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah. Any chance for a better layout for mobile? The buttons are just right at the bottom of the phone and hard to work with. I don't know how likely that is, Danizen. The TLDR is that, there's a crazy amount of UI elements that are designed for bigger screens than some mobile devices. And some platforms don't... that you can't tell the difference of whether something is going to... God, how do I explain this? There is such a wide variance in the screen sizes for different mobile devices that doing a specific... sorry, I had a message there. I'm like, wait, do I need to do something about that right now? That having a specific UI for mobile isn't as possible as we would like for it to be. And so, like, we don't recommend that people even play the game on mobile. Like, it's, we have a tablet interface that's kind of designed with tablets in mind, but mobile screens are a lot smaller. And so I know that, especially, like, never mind whether or not the buttons at the very bottom are difficult, you end up with some screens are more curved than others, and so you can't touch the ones in the corners at all, and, like, there's all kinds of different issues related to it. I mean, the best I can suggest is to use a stylus. But we don't currently have plans to redo the UI for mobile. Will Spurt be changed to either Artificer or Artificer/Rogue? Would make sense for eventual synergies. Nope, there's no plans for it. We worked with Chris Perkins to make Spurt the way that he is, and there's no intent to change it. Are we going to get a Loxodon champion at any point? I like my elephant people. Me too. I would love a Loxodon champion. I could say that there isn't one in development, and we don't plan to have one before midpoint next year. There's always a possibility that we could have one, but it's not super likely. Fruit Loops. What is the first champion you would recommend unlocking for each slot? That is a good question. This is a bit subjective, because I know that there are the champions that are categorically amazing that will always get you more. So, like, in slot 12, you start with Archon. By far, the best champion in the slot right now is Zorbu. He is categorically and the best DPS champion there is. In slot 11, you start with Jamila. Probably the best unlock you can get is Averin. As much as I would like to say it's Warden, and Warden is the one I would unlock first. Averin offers the highest power increase out of any of the champions in the slot. Slot 10 is kind of up to you. There was a window in the game's life when Barrowin was by far the best support champion. But right now it's kind of like, take your pick based on what you're trying to do. Like, Havilar is kind of useful. A little bit niche, but great for Descent into Avernus dealing with fiend stuff. Wolfgar, if you're unlocking the other members of the Companions of the Hall. Barrowin, if you think you can put together a formation that can capitalize on using her ability. And Rosie, if you want to complete the C team. You have a bunch of good options in slot 9. You start with Makos, obviously. I'm a huge fan of Birdsong. I love Birdsong. Dritz is good if you're going for a full Companions of the Hall formation, but otherwise isn't great. But at least as an evergreen champion, he's easy to unlock gear for. Ayla is super powerful. Ayla is great both as a tank and as a support, so Ayla is a very, very good choice as your first unlock. Morgaine is also a very good buffer, but Ayla probably wins out in that slot. You start with Delina, and you kind of start with Hitch as well, because you get him from signing up for the newsletter. So from there, you would get Beetle and Grim, for sure, because they can offer just some ridiculously potent buffing. For Minsk's slot, either Caddy, Bree, depending on what kind of formation you're trying to build, or Freely would be my suggestions. For this slot, this is a contentious slot. So Krull probably offers the single biggest power increase from adding one champion that you can get. You will get further just by adding Krull than probably any other individual champion ever, because Krull's amazing. So that'd be my first choice. That said, Evelyn is a fantastic tank support, and Shandy is an amazing speed champion support. So lots of good options in this slot. After Calliope, you probably want Briv. Briv is a speed support and Goldfine champion, so just amazing there. If you have a Companions of the Hall formation, Puent is a good choice. Slot 4. Let's see, after Jarlaxle. So Stokey and Paulton and Sentry all offer some pretty cool stuff right now, and Jaheira to an extent as well. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. Sentry is the only one out of the group who is also kind of a speed champion, so probably Sentry categorically would be the best choice. Paulton is a very good buffer. And Stokey has a stacking debuff that still benefits from a lot of things that some of the other stacking debuffs don't. So Stokey can be very, very good. What do we got for slot 3? Slot 3, you start with Naeli. Gromma is probably the best choice for your first unlock. Artemis is a very long-term investment in that you can only really use him once. He has a whole bunch of other champions in the party that he can steal buffs from and like really capitalize on him. So he's like a long-term goal. But yeah, Gromma is probably the best choice there as both a great tank and a strong support. And then Spurt is a very good support champion. Slot 2, after Celeste, probably Korth. Yeah. Korth is a very good evil support champion. Slot 1, Deacon. You start with Brunner, go for Deacon. The other ones are all good in their own ways, but Deacon is Deacon. It's Deacon. Deacon, go for Deacon. That's my recommendations, Fruit Loops. I'm sure there are folks in chat who have their own opinions. I'm going to read some questions, and in the meantime, I'm going to swap over to this. Let's see. If it hasn't been asked already, what is this weekend's buff? Well, Arsenal Magus, I used to do that. I used to talk about the weekend buffs in the Thursday stream, but the weekend buffs and the conversation about weekend buffs has become the domain of Sean and Lee. And so I leave that to them to discuss. Also, I haven't actually looked at them yet myself. I don't even know what they are. I see somebody in chat asking what slot Omen will be in. That will be revealed as per the Omen Champion Spotlight, which we hope to have ready for tomorrow, but will likely be ready on Tuesday next week. We'll see. Hopefully tomorrow. I will make it my goal to make sure that the Omen Spotlight comes out tomorrow afternoon. How about that? What I can say about this weekend's buffs is that it will be Freely's Adventurous Weekend, which spoils who one of the champions in the buff will be. Is there any chance of having Modron components drop as well as gems? No. There's no plan for that. PS4 issue, the specialization window in core formation does not save choices. The workaround is to have the specialization choices already in the save formation, but is that intended? That is a part of that's not a PS4 only issue. There's a bunch of specialization related issues right now. So yeah, I will pass that along, DDAM, but I'm pretty sure that's already on our list because I think I've already seen that one. It is 2:48. I think I've answered pretty much everything. That was a good blitz of questions, so thank you. Show is spoiled for tomorrow, Sean. Hey, you guys are getting preview art. You'll get to preview something new. Come on now. Come on. What do I want to talk about? I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that Chris and I talked about yesterday when I was totally taking advantage of the fact that he had not had enough sleep, and I got him to spoil a whole bunch of stuff coming to the game. So the next champion coming to the game is Modron, also known as Omenifus Hereward Drawn, played by Jerry Holkins on Acquisitions Incorporated for like 12, 13 years now, both on podcast and stage and on streams. And so we're very excited to have Omen coming to the game. And he's coming as part of Agaron's Day because, hey, while we did split up the Acquisitions Incorporated and C-Team members across multiple events, it felt like it's not an okay thing to do to split Jim Dark Magic and Omen Drawn up. So they get to share an event. So Jim and Omen coming back next week. I see people in chat trying to get Sean to spoil the hidden code from today. I can't give any more hints on it than I've already given. It was there. You may need to rewatch the stream, but I think if you do, you will probably find it. Anyways, don't you dare, Sean. I will mess up your art for tomorrow. I'll do it. What else do we talk about that's coming up? Torgar Steelfist is coming to the game soon. We have a Goblin Artificer C&E Original Champion coming to the game soon. We have the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign coming this autumn. We have the end of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign coming in August. And as part of wrapping up that campaign, players will be able to unlock another Evergreen champion. So that's coming soon. Not soon, TM. Soon. I don't think we spoiled anything about champions beyond those ones, so I'll have to keep my mouth shut about some of the other ones that are coming. Yeah, new campaign this fall based on the new book. I shared some of the art from that's a work in progress that we had yesterday. The one of I don't know how many of you follow Max Dunbar on Twitter. You should. He's awesome and he's a great artist. And if you're a critter, like, how could you not follow him? Because he's posted tons of awesome Critical Role fan art. But Max is a friend of ours and is a comic book artist who has been working on the Legends of Baldur's Gate and most recently the Infernal Tide series of comics for IDW. I think I might actually have some of these right here. Which ones are these? Oh no, these are the Evil of Baldur's Gate ones. Comics. Anyways, so Max put out some really cool looking sketches of some companions of the Hall, dressed as if they were heading up to Ten Towns and Icewind Dale for the new book, and so posted a piece of in progress art for the Wolfgar skin that will be coming to the game. It's a work in progress, so I hesitate to share that art very much again because it might change. But all 5 companions of the Hall will be getting unique skins for that we're very excited about. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think it's time to wrap up the show. So yeah, this has been our show for Thursday, July 30th, 2020. Thank you for joining us today, for participating in the Idle Champions and Dungeons & Dragons communities, which makes you guys awesome. This show exists because of a number of amazing people behind the scenes, including our co-producer / moderator, Sasha, as well as our executive producer, Erica, our partners at Dungeons & Dragons, Greg, Bart, Pelham, Allison, Shawling, and Lisa. A whole bunch of other really cool people, too. So yeah, thank you all for that. So take care, everybody. People wanting me to recap the hints. I gave the stream code hint in my introduction, and I didn't like flashing light give it, but I felt personally like it was quite obvious. So anyways, yeah, we have Griddle Champions up first thing tomorrow morning. They just are waiting patiently from me to give them art so that they can make pancakes out of it. So take care, everybody. Tune in for Griddle Champions tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And yeah. Oh, and it's Thursday, so totally watch Critical Role tonight, right? Anyways, cheers, everybody.